know those amazing AI translators we use every day? Ever stop and think, how do they actually learn a language? And more importantly, what if we took one of these giant AI brains and tried to teach it a language it's never ever seen before? Well, let's find out. So here's the game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to see what one of these AIs already knows how to do. Then, we'll push its limits with a brand new challenge. After that, we'll walk through exactly how you teach it a new skill. And finally, we'll see the incredible results and talk about why this whole thing is such a big deal.
All right, first things first. Before we can do anything else, let's pop the hood and understand the core technology we're playing with here. This is really the engine behind all modern AI translation.
Okay, so the brains of the operation is something called an encoder-decoder model. It sounds super technical, but think of it like a two-person team. The first person, the encoder, reads a sentence in one language and really understands its meaning. Then it whispers that core meaning to the second person, the decoder, whose only job is to write that same meaning out but in a totally different language. For our experiment today, we're using a famous model called T5. Okay, so before we try to teach our AI any new tricks, we need a baseline. We have to see what it can do right out of the box. Let's give it a task it was actually trained for and see how it performs. The process itself is surprisingly simple. We grab our T5 small model, we give it a very clear command, translate English to Romanian, and then we just let it go to work. Now, this is a language pair it's seen before in its training, so we should expect a pretty decent result. And the result? We get what's called a BLEU score of 25.2%. Now, what's a BLEU score? Just think of it like a grade. It's a percentage of how closely the AI's translation matches a perfect human-made one. And in this world, 25.2% is actually pretty good. It's not an A+, but it's a solid pass. It shows the model knows what it's doing. So why wasn't it a perfect score? Well, take a look at this. You can see exactly why. The correct Romanian word on the left is șeful, with that little comma thingy under the S. But the AI's prediction on the right? It completely missed that tiny detail. It's these subtle little errors with special characters, they're called diacritics, that show the limits of its knowledge. All right, so the AI passed the test it studied for, no big surprise. But now for the real experiment. What happens when we throw it a total curveball, something it has never ever been trained to do? So this is the million-dollar question. What happens if we just flip it? Can this same exact model translate from Romania back to English? Remember, this is a direction it was never ever taught. So what do you think is gonna happen? A BLEU score of just 3.2%. I mean, wow. Compared to the 25% we just saw, this is an absolute catastrophic failure. The model is basically just guessing, throwing words at a wall and hoping something sticks. It has no idea what it's doing. Without specific training, this powerful AI is completely lost. But wait, this is where things get really interesting. Just because the model failed miserably doesn't mean it's a lost cause. Not at all. We just have to teach it. And we're gonna do that with a super powerful technique called fine-tuning. So what on earth is fine-tuning? Okay, imagine our pre-trained AI is like a master chef who knows thousands of general cooking techniques. Fine-tuning is like handing that master chef a very specific cookbook, say for advanced French pastries. The chef doesn't have to relearn how to chop an onion or use an oven, right? They just adapt their massive foundation of knowledge to this new specialized skill. That's fine-tuning. And the process is actually pretty intuitive. We take that same T5 small model, the one that failed so badly, then we start feeding it new examples, thousands and thousands of them. For each one, we show it a Romanian sentence and then the perfect English translation. As the model sees these pairs over and over, it starts to notice the patterns, adjusting its own internal wiring to get better and better at this new job. So, we put the AI through its training montage. It has studied the new material. What happens when we give it the final exam? Well, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. The transformation from total failure to, well, fluency. Just look at this. It's staggering. On the left, that tiny little bar, that's our pathetic 3.2% score from before. And on the right, after fine-tuning, we have absolutely skyrocketed to 33.4%. This is unreal. The model didn't just get a little better, it actually became even more proficient at this new task than it was at the original one it was trained on. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The researchers who ran this experiment put it perfectly. The final score is markedly better than where we started. Yeah, markedly better might be the understatement of the year. This is a complete game changer, proving we can take an existing AI and teach it a brand new, complex skill. Okay, this was a super cool experiment. An AI learned a new language. But what's the big picture here? Why should any of us care? Why does this matter for the future of AI? Well, the biggest takeaway is this. The whole game is changing. Adapting is the new building. Instead of spending an insane amount of time and resources building a new AI model from scratch for every single problem, we can take these powerful, pre-trained models, these incredible foundations, and just fine-tune them, customize them for whatever we need. This makes sophisticated AI way more accessible for all kinds of specialized jobs. And that leaves us with one last mind-bending question. If we can teach an AI a completely new human language this effectively, what other complex skills are just one fine-tuning away? What breakthroughs in science or medicine or art are just waiting there for us to apply this technique? The possibilities are truly staggering to think about.